British homes contain 25 bizarre items that made absolutely no sense to the rest of the world, until you understand the fascinating history behind each one. From bathroom carpets to kettles that could power small cities, British homes are filled with quirks that have left visitors scratching their heads for generations. Let's start with the most infamous feature that greets every unsuspecting visitor: separate hot and cold taps. Picture this. You walk into a British bathroom, turn on the tap, and suddenly you are playing a dangerous game of thermal roulette. One tap delivers water so scalding it could brew tea instantly, while the other shoots out liquid ice that makes you question if Britain has discovered a new form of torture. As one frustrated visitor described it, "You just have to wave your hands around like an idiot and hope you can mix the two to get a decent temperature." Separate hot and cold taps are not just a prank on tourists, they are the legacy of a nation that takes both safety and bureaucracy very seriously. The story goes that Winston Churchill himself, during a wartime visit to Moscow in 1942, marveled at the Soviet mixer tap and even wrote to the Ministry of Works suggesting Britain look into this one-tap wonder. His diary called it a coup de grace in the bathroom. Yet back home, the model water bylaws had other ideas. Clause 12.4, written in the early 1900s, flatly banned mixing hot and cold water from gravity-fed tanks, all in the name of public health. The fear was scalding injuries and bacteria breeding in warm tanks. So while Churchill dreamed of single-spout taps, British law clung to its twin streams, and the tradition stuck. Even today, about 40% of bathroom taps sold in the UK are still separate hot and cold, a figure that would make any American plumber break out in hives. But the British bathroom's eccentricities do not stop at the basin. Try turning on the light and you will find yourself searching for a dangling string instead of a switch. Enter the pull cord, a safety measure that has become as British as queuing. According to the British Standard 7671 wiring regulations, wall switches in bathrooms are strictly forbidden, too risky with wet hands and 230 volts lurking in the walls. Only a ceiling-mounted pull cord is allowed, and even the humble shaver socket is limited to 200 milliamps. These rules did not appear out of thin air. Accident reports and coroner's inquests in the 1960s and the early 2000s revealed just how dangerous a bathroom switch could be. So if you find yourself waving at the ceiling like you are summoning a Victorian ghost, remember, it is the result of decades of safety obsession, not just a nationwide inside joke. Step into a British bathroom and you might wonder if you've accidentally entered a carpet showroom. Yes, it's true, nearly 4% of UK bathrooms still have wall-to-wall carpet, and that number jumps to almost 8% among people over 65. The English Housing Survey backs it up, and Google Trends shows a 342% surge in searches for bathroom carpet in just 1 year. To outsiders, it's a head-scratcher. Why wrap your loo in shag? The answer is as British as drizzle, cold floors, and a stubborn affection for comfort. Before underfloor heating and heated towel rails, carpet was the cheapest way to keep your toes from freezing during a midnight dash. For some, it's nostalgia. For others, a sign that the house hasn't been updated since the Queen's Silver Jubilee. But the surprises don't stop underfoot. British bathrooms are famous for their lack of counter space, a phenomenon less about national minimalism and more about the realities of cramped Victorian terraces and post-war flats. There's no official law banning vanities, but space-saving guidelines, like those in BS 8003, recommend keeping things compact so you can actually open the door without kneeing the sink. The result? Toothbrushes balanced on window ledges and a national talent for stacking toiletries in gravity-defying arrangements. And then there is the separate WC, often a tiny room with just a toilet, sometimes so narrow you have to decide which shoulder to lead with. This isn't just architectural whimsy. The 1875 Public Health Act required new homes to provide a separate sanitary space, aiming to keep germs out of living areas. It's a legacy of Victorian public health reform that means even today, guests may find themselves searching for the right door in a hallway full of mysterious options. These quirks aren't random. They are the byproduct of generations squeezing comfort, hygiene, and a bit of stubborn practicality into Britain's famously tight quarters. A British kitchen often feels like a puzzle box where the washing machine sits beside the kettle and the plug sockets look ready for a science experiment. This is not random. It is the outcome of policy, habit, and a few strong opinions. Today, 97% of British homes have a washing machine, and most are wedged into the kitchen. Kirsty Allsop once declared that it was disgusting. She said her life's work is in part dedicated to getting washing machines out of the kitchen. Her comment sparked a national debate, but the roots go back to Edwardian terraces, where plumbing clustered under the kitchen window, leaving no room for a separate laundry space. The British plug, with its 3 pins and switch, owes its existence to a 1944 copper shortage. The Ministry of Works found that ring circuits could save 30% of copper, and Dame Caroline Hazlitt championed a plug with a built-in fuse. The 1947 BS1363 plug remains a fixture, its safety features now a quiet ritual. Flick the switch, plug in, repeat. Kettles in the UK are powerhouses, drawing up to 3,000 watts, far more than the American standard of 1,800. Water boils in under a minute, prompting the constant offer, "Shall I put the kettle on?" The airing cupboard, once essential for drying laundry and softening butter, is fading fast. As one oral history recalls, if you wanted warm socks or spreadable butter, you knew where to go. Now, with combi boilers in 78% of new homes, it is a vanishing comfort. Number 17. Meatloaf with tomato glaze and green beans. A British kitchen is a masterclass in making do with less, and nowhere is that clearer than in the daily parade of oddball gadgets and missing conveniences. Start with the drying rack, an indoor clothesline on legs, usually perched in front of a radiator or blocking the back door. While Americans toss laundry into a humming dryer, the British tradition of air drying dates back to the post-war years, when electricity was rationed and every kilowatt hour counted. The habit stuck, and now even in homes with tumble dryers, a trusty rack stands ready for socks and smalls, rain or shine. Open the fridge, and you will notice something is missing: the ice dispenser. In Britain, the average refrigerator is a modest affair, often squeezed under the counter, and the idea of a built-in ice maker is as rare as a sunny bank holiday. Energy studies show that British households just do not crave ice the way their American cousins do. Maybe it is the weather, maybe it is the tea. Either way, if you want cold cubes, grab a tray and do it yourself. Dishwashers in the UK have their own rules. Forget the double-drawer luxury models. Here, it is a single under-counter unit or nothing. This is not just a space-saving quirk, it is a legacy of compact kitchens designed for post-war flats and terraces, where every inch matters. Appliance market data confirms that the under-counter style outsells all others by a wide margin, and the British have become experts at loading them with Tetris-level precision. Food waste disposal units are almost mythical. Instead, British kitchens rely on a small caddy for compost, often perched beside the sink. This is not just eco-friendly virtue signalling, it is a practical response to pipes that were not built for pulverized leftovers. Council guidelines have long promoted composting over grinding, and now separating tea bags from potato peelings is a quiet part of the daily routine. Each of these kitchen quirks might seem like a puzzle, but together they reveal a culture where thrift and practicality always find a way. Step outside and you'll spot the British Conservatory, those glass-walled little boxes of warm magic tacked onto the back of houses, catching every possible sunbeam. Only about 1.3% of homes add one each year, but their popularity is legendary. especially in a country where summer highs rarely crack 22 degrees Celsius. No wonder central air conditioning is almost mythical here. Fewer than 2% of homes have it, so the conservatory becomes a sun trap and a status symbol in one. Peer at the street and the quirks keep coming. Windows that open outward, a cost-saving trick from the 1930s when builders prized cheap, simple hinges over fancy sashes. Out front, a parade of color-coded wheelie bins waits for collection, each one a silent testament to local waste policy. And instead of a mailbox, there's the classic letterbox slot right in the door, a daily thud of mail and takeaway menus, British style. All these oddities, from sunrooms to curbside rituals, are shaped by climate, thrift, and a dose of civic choreography. Some of Britain's most confounding home features are the ones hiding in plain sight. Take the dual flush toilet. 2 buttons, one for a polite half flush, the other for when you need the full works, a water-saving dance that is now standard in new builds. Tap aerators, often overlooked, quietly limit water flow to 6 litres a minute, turning every hand wash into a gentle mist rather than a Niagara deluge. The classic basin soak, filling the sink for a dishwashing marathon, remains a ritual, born from thrift and pipes that would protest a running rinse. Walls and woodwork are painted in endless shades of off-white, not out of love for beige, but because landlord turnover demands quick, neutral cover-ups. Socket shutters snap closed behind every plug, a silent army against curious fingers. Even the house itself might have a name: Rosebank, The Gables, or simply number 47. Creaking floorboards announce every midnight snack. And if you are ever lost, remember, the hot tap is always on the left. It is not just tradition, it is British standard. So next time you are baffled by a bathroom carpet or plotting a kettle-powered moon landing, remember, every oddity is British history with a plug socket. These quirks are not just relics, they are proof that homes everywhere are museums of habit, invention, and a dash of glorious practical stubbornness. Cheers for watching.